Hello everybody out there in podcast land. This is Podbros, a production of Sound Bros Productions, Inc.
Productions.
I went with Inc. on that one. No? Our apologies. Things have been crazy and good. We had a fantastically busy weekend. And when we got to Monday, it was like, today's a dead day, and I was dead all day. So, no podcast. And
what he's saying is that he's a lazy bum.
And we apologize.
He didn't want to do anything.
I apologize.
Now he's coming up with a convenient excuse.
It's very convenient.
Cover up.
Thank you very much.
The fact that we didn't do a podcast yesterday.
That is true. Ish. Anyway, I don't know if
You're not supposed to own it. You're supposed to contradict me.
You suck.
No, that's
it
not
was a. I don't know where to go.
But if you're insulting me, that means that I'm right. So apparently I'm right.
I went for the easy out here, and it's not working out for me. So, on a serious note, though, we did a wedding on Sunday.
It was enjoyable,
and it was fun. If you're getting a wedding done, there's lots of venues around town. Let us know, and we'll tell you which ones are best. Also, Sound Bros Productions loves to do weddings because they're super fun. Is it raining outside
right now?
Is it? That might be part of the sound that I'm hearing in my headphones. I could play rain on my.
No, I'm good. Thanks.
On my iPad, and just kind of.
Do you have your soundboard?
I do have my soundboard on there.
Does it have rain on there?
I don't know. Let's check.
Well, while Luke's checking, we're on Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify.
Indeed. Who wants to watch us live stream? That's a question, right?
Yes, it is a question.
With an upward inflection at the end of it?
Were you just saying that was a question?
Well, I mean, I'm
likes
asking.
Tacos? That was a question
who
also.
Likes tacos? I'm just, nope, there's no rain.
What are toiletries? See, that's a question too. I can ask questions all day long.
No, my
doesn't mean anything.
My question is, wow, you're really loud.
Am I?
Yeah.
I don't seem that loud.
You don't have. Well, I don't have your compressor set. I didn't set any of those, and we need to so that they equal up, so that we can get loud and it doesn't blow out ears. You know what I mean?
It still didn't peek out over here, though.
No, I have sensitive ears though, just like you do. Not as sensitive as yours, but close.
I can't see my normal catch line. Dang it!
Why?
Because we're on YouTube.
We're on YouTube.
I can't.
YouTube
is not nice.
Yep, we're gonna leave it there. Anyway, so yeah, we did a wedding, and we had fun, and our friend Andrew got married.
He did,
and his wife is a sweetheart. Yeah, we had a good time. And then. So yeah, it was a good time. So yeah, that's part of everything that was going on. I don't know if you've noticed, but it is the sound is, I think, much better.
I noticed.
I know you noticed, but we have gotten further along in our makeshift sound booth,
in our foam
room of sounding.
We still have a lot of flat space above us, but
what we could do is we could just put a 2x4 across that and put the foam on that.
Or we could do a 2x4 across that and hang the curtain across it.
And just kind of square the room out. That would be kind of cool.
Or we could just move the curtain up the wall.
Up the ceiling.
Up the ceiling, yeah.
Up the ceiling.
Up your ceiling.
Up yours.
So,
I saw Bad Boys for Life the other day.
you did.
It was pretty good.
It was all right.
I liked it.
It was, I just want to see something original.
Yeah, that is.
I want to see something new. And it's funny, I was just watching a video on YouTube. I was watching, have you ever seen Honest Trailers on YouTube?
You don't watch videos on YouTube. Don't lie to the people.
Have you ever seen Honest Trailers?
You're just not going to go with that one.
Just gonna pass right
Yes,
over.
I've seen Honest Trailers.
So I was watching Honest Trailers for Jupiter Ascending,
That was a good movie
and they were totally dissing on it.
because they're stupid.
And they were making a comment about how, people are craving original content, just not that original content. And my thought process when I heard that was, first of all, I liked Jupiter Ascending.
Same.
I thought it was a good movie.
Same.
I thought they did a fairly decent job
Indeed.
of presenting a new story without spending an entire movie explaining the
Creating
backstory.
Right.
And I'm not gonna.
I dropped it.
I'm not gonna be able to pull this one off.
Yeah, sure you are.
The computer just froze.
The computer just froze, and we had to stop and then try and figure out where we were
Yeah,
talking.
and figure out where we stopped.
So we were talking about
Jupiter
Jupiter Ascending and the fact
original
that,
content.
Yeah, it was original content that didn't require a backstory.
Right.
Or I mean, it did, but it didn't. It didn't take over the entire movie. It's like, how many Batmans have we seen?
Well, no. They
Right?
told the backstory, had a conflict,
Ooh,
and then resolved the conflict,
excuse me, but
and
that was amazing.
and then left the movie open
For a sequel
for
or
a
prequel.
sequel if you wanted to.
Yep.
And they left it open for a lot of potential.
Yeah. Is that coming through?
What is what coming through? You kicking stuff? Yeah, I can hear it a little bit.
That's annoying.
Anyway,
Apologies, I'm sorry. It's just all right in my way. Hang on.
all the cords.
Yeah, there we
They
go.
weren't in the way until you made me move the table back.
No, they were still in the way. That's why I made you move the table.
No, when the table was that way, they were not in the way because they were under the table.
Yeah, well,
That's
but then
really
I couldn't.
gross.
I heard the gurgle on the inside first. This microphone is amazing.
Yeah, yuck.
No. It's like, how many Batmans have we seen, right? Mm-hmm. Where, okay, it's a new Batman, and what are we going to do? We're going to tell the backstory again. Every single time.
Yeah, it's like if you don't know the backstory of Batman by now,
Then you've been living under a rock.
yeah.
Okay, new Batman's coming out. You know what you can do to learn the backstory? It's really easy. Go watch any other Batman. Any of them. They're all the same. All the backstory is the same. The dude killed his parents while he was a baby
Now,
or a young guy.
I will say though that the
Right?
backstory of Batman in the new Joker movie
I'm Batman.
was very well done
The new Joker movie.
with Joaquin Phoenix.
Ooh. Wait a minute. What?
No, Joaquin Phoenix. Sorry,
No. What was the backstory?
Walking with Phoenix.
There was no backstory to Batman in that.
Yes, there was.
No, there
Yes,
wasn't.
there was.
Oh, there was. Wow, I totally blanked on that.
So, I read a thing about an alternative ending to
Okay.
Joker, and it was so dark that they decided not to do it. They decided it was actually too dark.
That's saying a lot because that movie was really dark.
Yeah. So the alternative ending to Joker was after he shoots the guy
In
in
the
the theater
yeah.
and starts the riot. He then goes and he's the one at the theater who kills Bruce's parents.
Oh gosh, that'd be brilliant.
And then he kills Bruce. And that's the end of the movie.
Oh, he just ends Batman
He just
altogether.
kills Batman and leaves.
Oh.
Yeah, it was super dark, and the studio was like, "There's no way we're doing this."
But see, the problem with that dark though is that you completely destroy the storyline of Batman. Like what Batman are you gonna have after that? Who? When?
Alfred,
Ooh, Alfred.
have you ever seen those?
No, but my favorite Batman is the Batman Returns. Have you seen those? The animated ones?
Yeah,
we watched
them
it
together.
So good.
I was there with you when we were watching.
You were there? Where was I?
Where was I? Watching them together. Duh.
Oh.
Oh. No, there's a whole bunch of Batman comics where
Alfred puts on the suit.
where Alfred is Batman for a
Alfred
while.
suits up.
Or Alfred is Alfred being a retired, because he's a
He's a
Royal
SAS
Marine
or something.
He's
like
a
that,
Royal
right?
Marine. Yeah, he was a Royal Marine who was SAS and all sorts of crazy special forces back in his younger days.
So translation: Alfred's a bad A.
Yeah, there's actually a clip that went around on the internet for a while, and it's Batman, or it's Alfred standing there with a gun, and someone has broken into a Wayne Manor, and it's someone who knows that Batman is Bruce Wayne,
Right.
and he's like, "But I thought Batman didn't kill people," and he's like, "I'm not Batman."
Awesome.
It's great.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it was funny because I was watching the Honest trailer and I was just like, but it was good though.
We should start writing movie trailers with no movie.
No movie, yeah.
Yeah, just come up with a
Well,
movie
no,
trailer.
just
like a vocal version.
What
right?
I was getting at, what my point was that we went to watch Bad Boys for Life, and it was decent, but it's the same story over and over and over again. And
Did you watch the first one?
no,
Did you watch the second one?
no.
See, the Bad Boys for Life was more a nostalgia movie than it was anything else.
Right, but what I'm saying is that Bad Boys for Life had the same feel as most of the Will Smith movies that have come out in the last couple of years. It's the whole this person is my son.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert.
I'm gonna spoil it. I don't care.
Bad Boys for Life. Spoiler alert. Okay, go ahead.
It's the whole this person's my son, and if I connect with them,
I need to be a good dad.
then they'll stop being bad.
And why is he making these movies?
Because his son is a Fruit Loop.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah. There's just something wrong with you when you start dyeing your hair white and painting your face with tattoos like that. It's just weird.
Is he getting tattoos on his face now?
Doesn't he have tattoos on his face?
I don't think so.
I thought he did.
I'm gonna look that up while we're talking. Continue.
Maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
Well,
who has,
little Wayne.
Maybe I'm thinking of another black rapper who has white hair and tattoos on his face. Not that there's anything wrong with having tattoos on your face.
Said no one ever.
Said no one ever. I was gonna say, if you happen to have done them when you were under the influence of mind-altering substances like any narcotics or alcohol, and you regret them afterwards, and they are a reminder of your former life and what you never want to do ever again.
Yeah, right.
Like our friend from Elements, because
Right.
he talks about that.
Yes, he talks about it
all
on a regular.
the time.
Yep.
So, but I guess I crave original content, and when you can provide original content, or you can provide original content on a classic framework,
Right.
then I think both of those are if you can do it well, I think they're recipes for a good story. That's like Valerian and the City of 1,000 Worlds. Is that what it is? What the name of that movie is?
I think so.
Yeah, that was the same type of thing where it's a unique story, original type content. You know, I mean, it was. If anyone's seen it, I'm ruining it. The theme of today is ruining movies, but it's the whole. I mean, there's the whole classic story of the government conspiracy cover up, but they did it in a unique, original way.
Right.
And I don't know. I thought it was cool. I think that they could have probably picked some better actors for it.
Who would you have picked instead?
I I don't know. See, that's the thing is I'm not sure how I would have picked, but I don't know. I felt like both the leads were very one dimensional.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of dynamicness to them.
Okay.
I mean, there was a little bit to the guy. The guy, and I of course forget his name, but he did do a decent job of legitimately kind of changing his character and becoming a little bit more real instead of that gung-ho, soldier boy taking advantage of women
Conspiracy theorist thing.
He became a little bit more genuine and real, which was cool. But I felt like the other character was just one-dimensional the whole time. The prissy prima donna female.
Well, that's almost any movie anymore.
Officer, person in the military, who is preeminently judging a man, and then is happy to be proven wrong at the end of the movie, but it's still playing hard to get.
Wow, you just named every single female character in all the movies right now.
That's what my point. But that's what my point is, though, is that it's like, can we have some more dynamic characters?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, that is one of the things that we went and watched Midway, and that was one of the things that I really liked about Midway was that you had female characters, you had strong female supporting roles that were dynamic and productive to the flow of the story.
They were also portraying 40s and 50s style women, which we don't have anymore.
That's true.
Or
if we do, no one knows where they are.
We had, and this is my argument against feminism.
Oh, we're gonna jump right into.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely.
Okay.
This is my argument against it, is because you keep telling me this is all about equality and all this stuff, and yet every time I read a story about a woman in the 40s and 50s, I don't see a woman that was oppressed and put down. I see a woman that was doing her job, taking her place, being as incredibly strong, stronger than anyone I know today, because when the men went to war, they went to work in the mills and the factories and did the job.
Along with taking care of their families.
Along with taking care of their families. And were happy and successful. I don't see that in today's day and age.
Yeah.
Instead, I see an entire group of women whose entire identity as a feminist is usurping men.
Yeah, and that's
for what purpose?
This comes down to the basic issue of equal rights, and it was the civil rights leaders for the black movement in the early part of the 20th century. You had guys like Du Bois.
Yep.
And guys like him that said they were the ones who started the whole thing where it was like, we want equality, but it's foolhardy to think that we are going to do jobs that they're doing, that we're going to insist upon jobs that they're doing. We don't have the skills to do the jobs they're doing. And it's foolhardy for us to assume that they're going to give up their jobs to do the jobs we're doing.
Exactly.
They don't have the skills and abilities
to
do the jobs that we're doing.
They don't.
Now, with that being said, he was not discounting the innovations and inventions of hundreds of black people.
Of course.
What he was saying was he was stating the reality of the situation, and what he was ultimately getting at was he was saying, why are we going to war about this? Why are we waging war on the white man?
And why are we not celebrating our differences?
Why are we not celebrating our differences? Because what he understood that we live in America. And in America inevitably assimilates cultures into itself.
Yeah.
And what the black people should have done, and what was happening during the Reconstruction era, was black people in the South who were freed slaves were being treated like immigrants.
Right.
They were actually being treated like immigrants for the first time. They had been there for 300 plus years, but they were finally being treated like immigrants.
Right, and being assimilated
or
in.
not 300, but 200 years. They've been there for a long time.
But being assimilated in.
They were starting to be assimilated into the culture. They were being treated like immigrants. And immigrants, anyone who tells you that immigrants come to the country anywhere from 50 years ago or earlier and had an easy time of it,
Full of crap.
it was tough. To be an immigrant, to come to the United States, it was tough. It was not for the faint of heart. That's what makes the whole argument of immigration now such a slap in the face to America and to the history of America, is that immigration 100 years ago, 50 years ago,
Immigration was never easy.
You had to fight tooth and nail. You had to prove that you were worthy of coming into our country.
You had to prove that you were worthy to be an American.
That's exactly what it is. And now you can literally just walk across the border.
Yep. You don't have to prove anything.
Screw you guys. I don't care.
Yep.
I'm coming into the country, and you guys just have to deal with it. And I want all of the rights and benefits that you guys have, and I don't care who fought and died for them.
Correct.
Or anything else. I just get to come into your country.
That is, I think, on the immigration side, that is one of the biggest slap in the faces, like you just said, is that the current immigration quote unquote status, right, is a slap in the face to our immigrants from history.
And I think it's
because
fair.
our not Americans, immigrated Americans, not I was born here.
Hold on a sec, though.
No, hang on.
No. Let me say this. I think it's fair that being someone who is the child of an immigrant who had to fight tooth and nail to get into this country, I think it's fair. And not only that, because we are Italian.
Correct.
Which means that there was only a certain number of our family that could come in, because they had very, very specific quotas on how many Italians were allowed to come into the country.
Yep.
So coming from a group of people,
our great-grandfathers,
coming from a group of people that migrated to the United States, that beat the system
and had to fight tooth and
nail to get through it, I think it's fair for me to be upset that you can just waltz right in.
Yeah.
And I think it's fair for black people to be upset, for Irish, especially Irish and Germans, to be upset.
Oh, Irish especially.
Because the Irish need not apply.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a common phrase in the United States up until the 20th century. That was a common phrase where you would see signs on the door that said Irish need not apply.
Yep.
Come on. I think that I think that this is a legitimate situation here. Absolutely. Where it's like, I'm upset. I'm upset that they're coming into this country and they're not having to be run through the gauntlet to prove that they're worthy of being here.
Yep. They can just show up. And when it comes to conquering and assimilating, the Native Americans.
What about it?
Oh, let's put them in their own area and not have them assimilate into our culture.
You mean let's put them in the land that no one else wants, in camps where they can't leave, and we'll give them money so that they stay there?
Yeah, and just destroy their culture for 100 years.
And destroy and butcher their
years.
And
yeah,
take their culture from an epic, amazing culture that parts have been assimilated into the United States, and we're just going to reduce it down to a novelty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's exactly the exact same thing.
It's ridiculous.
It's the exact same thing.
And so, if any,
it's because there has been, and so this is the other side of all this, is that there has been in the United States, there has been a subculture in the United States of people that are true, not racist, because racism is defined by
the guilty.
No, racism is defined by a prejudice towards a group of people that is assumed.
Right.
It's not based on an actual observed observation. It's based on observation based on...
So then what are they? Because I have a theory.
Supremacists.
Okay.
They believe...
Yes.
In the supremacy of their race.
Right.
And
within that...
these people...
Culture,
no. Let me finish this, because this is kind of important. In this culture, or in this group of people, this group of people does not live in a specific race of people.
No, they're across.
It crosses the racial barrier.
Right. And
because there are groups of people that are white, there are groups of people that are Italian, there are groups of people that are German, there are groups of people that are Spanish, that are black,
Irish,
whatever it is, that think that their race is better.
superior. Yep.
For whatever reason, their race is inherently superior to all of the races. And it is inevitably those groups of people that fight against immigration,
Yep.
that fight against equality,
And
real equality.
And they truss it up, right? And how do they truss it up? They make it look like guilt.
Right, exactly.
Oh, we're so guilty about this. We should have. Oh, we need to give them reparations.
Yeah.
Reparations for what? You stopped us.
Wait. Hold on a sec. You want me,
Right.
who wanted them to just migrate to the country and get their own money, you want me to give them my money?
Yeah, no.
No.
Yeah, false.
No.
Not going to happen. Also, APS, quit freaking raising the prices. For God's sake. Just so everybody knows, I got a notice in the mail the other day, and I'm sure everybody else has gotten one, about the APS is applying for another rate hike or something. How do we not have enough power in Arizona? We have so much power. So much solar.
Why are they applying?
What the crap?
Why are they applying for a rate hike?
To pay for something or something.
It's
or
simple.
other.
They're applying for a rate hike because they want more money.
Yeah.
Because they're a utility. Utilities are government mandated monopolies.
Yep. Yep.
So, there's my theory. What were you going to say about when I said supremacists?
Guilt. The guilt thing.
Oh, the guilt thing. Okay.
Yeah. No, the guilt thing.
No, and they and inevitably, like with the whole environmental thing, they are the ones that are, you're being racist, you're suppressing them, you're holding them down, right?
Right.
And it's like, you know what? No. I want people to migrate to the United States. I want them to come in here and get their green card and get their citizenship.
See, that is the lie and the fallacy that they tell, is that those of us that believe the way we believe, don't want people to come here. And that is the furthest from the truth.
Yeah, we
want you to come here. As a matter of fact, we want you to come here more than you want to come here.
I hold the truths of send your poor and you're destitute.
Absolutely.
I hold true to that adage.
Yep. Send them all to me.
You know why?
What we'll do with them?
You know why? You know who the poor and destitute are? They're the ones that their children are the geniuses.
Are the Einsteins.
Are the brilliant minds that have made our... No, they're not the Einsteins. They're not the Rockefellers, or not Rockefeller, they're not the Carnegies. They're not those people. They're not.
Who are they?
They're the people that you don't know their name of, but they worked on the jet engine, or they are really good at math and were part of a team
that landed the Apollo,
that landed the rockets,
or the rocket, whatever the name of the rocket was.
Or they're some guy who figured out how a race car works,
right?
Or their dad was a crazy race car pilot or driver, and because of stuff that happened with their dad, they grew up and invented all sorts of safeties that we take advantage of today. That's who those people are.
That was Frank Miller's son, right?
I don't know about that, but I know that there are a couple. I know that there are a couple race car drivers that their children have grown up to get into the car industry.
Ridiculous safety
and
things.
There are tons of safety measures that they've created. But what my point is that people who come here looking for
They all come here.
They're looking for the American dream. They're looking for the American dream.
Yes.
And they live the American dream vicariously through their children.
Yep.
By pushing their children to the limit.
Yep.
To learn the language.
Right, because they're already past that
to
point.
Apply themselves.
Yep.
To better themselves.
And where else can you go and do that in our world?
Not very many places, if any.
Anywhere.
I don't
You
think
can't
you
do
really
that
go
anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think you can really do it anywhere.
You can't go to Australia anymore because it's on fire. Is it still burning?
I think so. Yeah, well, no, it's definitely still burning.
Yeah, still burning.
But
anyway, well, that was fun.
It's the bottom of the hour.
Is it really?
It is.
We're Podbros. Do.
No.
No?
No, that's not our theme song.
Okay. Do we have a theme song?
No. Yes, we do.
Pod Bros, Pod Bros.
Roly Poly Pod Bros?
Roly Poly Pod
No.
Bros.
No. A production of Sound Bros Productions.
Eat them up, yum.
Coming at you from the Quad City area.
Indeed, we are on iTunes, Podbean, Facebook, Google Play, YouTube,
Spotify.
and Spotify this summer. Anyway. Yeah, once again, my apologies for not doing a podcast yesterday or Thursday last week. Wait, was it Thursday or was it Wednesday? Bum, 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 bum.
It was Friday, wasn't it? No, it was Wednesday.
It was Wednesday.
It was Wednesday.
Thursday we had a hard time uploading, and I ended up uploading Friday morning.
Correct, and we didn't end up doing one.
And then we didn't do one Friday, or we did do one Friday? I
thought remember. No, Friday was the one that we had a hard time uploading.
And then I uploaded it Saturday?
Yes.
Ooh.
Because I remember that you left for Bible study.
I don't remember.
And then I finished editing it together.
Right.
And then you uploaded it when you got back.
Right.
And then we didn't do it yesterday.
Right.
There's a lot of rights. We might have gone left by now.
Left.
Left.
Ka-chow.
Right. Left. Right.
Red Rover.
Starboard.
Did you ever play that game in school?
Yes.
Red Rover?
Yes.
What was your favorite game in school to play?
What was my favorite game in school to play?
My favorite game is one that you can't actually say anymore.
We used to play
But you used to give the guy a ball, and you would tackle him. Everybody would tackle the one guy.
Yes.
And for those of you who remember that game, it was Smear.
The strange
I'm going to leave it.
Strange person.
Yes, Smear the strange person. Yes. That was exactly
the person with the ball was the strange person.
Yes.
So we played.
It was a great game.
I went to a whole bunch of different schools. We've talked about this before. I switched schools every 2 or 3 years. When I went to Prescott Valley School of Success, which is now Prescott Valley Schools,
and they're not successful.
They're still successful.
They are
fairly successful. We used to play this game where we played tackle football.
Yeah.
It was tackle football.
You know what my favorite
It was on
game
rocks, and I bloodied my knees many a times playing.
Did you really?
It was awesome. Then we used to play War. The teachers did not like that.
What is War?
War is you have two groups, because we had a pretty big play area that we played. It was the school was an old dance studio.
Oh, okay.
And so the back of it was built to be like a factory, but the back of it was this big open area.
Awesome.
And so they had like a playground set up back there, but it was like this huge area. And so we would play War. We had one side that was the defending side. We had one side that was the attacking side.
Got it.
And we would do battle. Because it was all one class. It was at that point it was Prescott Valley Schools, and it was 1st through 8th grade.
Nice.
Or kindergarten through 8th grade. So the younger grades, like 1st, 2nd, and 3rd,
they just kind of played.
They were separate. They didn't go to recess at the same time as us, but everyone from 4th grade up was all together. So we had a pretty good sized class. And
you guys would divide the entire thing up and play
between all the guys, of course, and we would do battle.
Like what? Swords and fake stuff?
Fake guns. Well, we didn't have anything, so it was all fake guns and fake swords. But we were shooting at each other, and people were dying. Great fun falling out of this is a big jungle gym. You fall out of the jungle, you get shot and you fall out of the jungle gym.
I'm dead.
So they did have wood chips around that area, so it wasn't like it was like falling on rocks or anything like that. But yeah, I think we played that about 10 times, and then the teacher pulled me aside because I was always the ringleader on that.
Of course.
And was like, you guys can't play that anymore.
Just because kids were getting hurt?
No, because it was violence, and we were portraying guns.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Yeah. So
let kids be kids, man.
So then after that, we played. The other thing we did was we played soccer.
Did you?
We played 20-on-20 soccer.
Oh, jeez.
Or something like that. And I was all-time goalie.
My favorite was...
I kicked. But we used to play... So the first year was when it was Prescott High Schools. It was all 13 grades together. Kindergarten to 12th grade.
Wow.
All in one giant building. And we used to, so when the younger grades would
Now,
go
Isaac
play.
was in that class,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was there.
Because that's when he graduated.
Yeah, he would. Yeah,
He graduated from, he was one of the first classes, right?
yeah, I think so.
To graduate from there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we would play soccer, and it was like me and 4 other people, me and Joe, and then 3 or 4 other people against the rest of the class. We would play soccer at recess, or anyone else who wanted to play.
Right, of course.
And we never lost.
Really?
Ever. As a matter of fact, it was a rare day that they scored a goal.
You guys were just that good? Or you were just that good of a goalie?
No, we were just that good. We were just really good at playing soccer.
Right.
And it wasn't like a regular, like, when I actually saw soccer for the first time, like legitimately watched someone play soccer, I was like, how does anyone ever score goals in this game?
Right.
Because we used to play, and it was the entire fence. It was like 30 feet, 40 feet that I had to defend. And so my brain is like, how does anyone even score in this game?
Right, because it's so tiny.
It's this tiny little box.
Yeah. And I'm covering 30 feet.
And I'm covering 30 feet of a fence.
Yeah. Interesting.
So.
Interesting. Did you ever see Kung Fu Soccer?
Kung Fu Soccer. Yes, I did.
Did you like it?
It was super cheesy. But
It is super cheesy.
it was decent.
It's thoroughly enjoyable, though. It's one of my favorites.
I actually always wanted to play soccer. I played baseball and football, and basketball, actually, but I never played soccer.
See, I played...
And now that I'm older, I kind of wonder what life would have been like if I had played soccer.
Well, because you'd be way more active.
Well, because, yeah, soccer's all running.
Yeah.
I also wonder how much life would have been different if I had actually been given the opportunity to play football.
Right. Yeah.
Because, people talk about, well, I played football in high school, and it's like, did you really play football in high school? Or did you play the bench in high school?
Yeah, exactly.
Because my entire freshman year, I did not play a game until the last game of the season.
Really?
Because football played, the freshman team played at 6 o'clock on Wednesday night, and I have church.
That's right.
And so I never played any of the games until the very last game of the season.
They switched that right after I got out. Yep.
They actually switched back the next year.
Yeah.
They switched back to 4 o'clock or something like that, or 5 o'clock or something like that. And then I found out later that the JV coach had asked the head coach multiple times if I could move up to JV.
So you could play.
So I could play. And that really made me mad because I didn't want to play the position that I was playing. I was playing on the line, and I don't like playing on the line because I think it's a dumb position. I wanted to be quarterback because
you got put on the line because
I'm large.
Because you're bigger.
Yeah. I wanted to play quarterback because
you want to talk about segregation and racism.
Yeah. Go play football.
Go play football.
Yeah.
You're little. Oh. You're little and wide. You're not gonna do anything but this position because that's what it fits.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't want to play that position. I want to play this position, and this position over here is actually what I'm good at.
But I want to be.
How about you let me run the ball?
Hey,
No,
I can throw a 75-yard pass.
Right.
Well, we don't care about that. The quarterback you have right now can't even throw the ball 5 feet. Yeah, but you're big, so I can do all of the things that he's doing. Yeah, but you're big, so you're going to be a lineman. All right. So it's part of the reason why I never made it past my sophomore year playing football.
In football, yeah. So I was in football my freshman year.
You were.
And was pretty good, I thought. And then my junior year, or my sophomore year, I rode the bench the entire season.
Solid.
I played one down of one game.
That was actually my freshman year was that way, because I played the Prescott Bradshaw game because the Prescott Bradshaw game was at 4 o'clock.
Right.
Because freshmen and JV both play the same day. So the game was early, and I played 3 downs, and then they pulled me back out.
Yep.
Yeah, I was pissed.
Yep.
Long story short, let me interrupt here. My freshman coach was pretty awesome, and I kind of wish that I'd been able to play with him.
Yeah. Who was
my
it?
coach. I forget what his name was, but he was a short, stocky guy like me.
Oh, okay.
But he actually fired the guy. He told him to leave the team because he was the, you have the head coach and you have the offensive and defensive coordinator. Yeah. So he was the defensive coordinator, and he played me for 3 downs.
Pulled you out.
And pulled me out. And at the end of the game, I went up to the coach and I'm like, so this was my only game that I was going to play, and I only played 3 downs. And he was like, I told him to play the whole game. And so what I didn't know until later was that he actually fired the guy.
Over that?
Yeah, he told him, leave, don't come back.
That's awesome.
You had one job and you didn't do it. So.
Yeah, and I actually have that as and I'll go back to my story here in a moment, but I kind of feel like for freshmen, like everything up to freshmen and maybe even some JV, why is not every single person in the team playing?
I would go so far as to argue that if you did that when they got up to varsity, you'd probably be able to play your entire varsity team all the time.
Yeah.
Could you think about this for a second?
This is my point.
Think about this strategy.
Yeah.
So our varsity team had 80 players on it.
Good God.
We had a massive, massive team. I think there was like over 150 players total.
Between all three teams. All 3 teams, yeah.
So we had 80 players. Imagine having 60 of them that can play just as good as any of the other ones of them. You could switch out the entire line every 3 plays.
And be fresh.
And have a fresh team the whole time.
All day long.
Yeah. By the other team's all worn out and tired, and by the time the end of the game comes, you still have a fresh line out there. And with 60 players.
Yeah. And they're all in sync with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Why? Because they've been playing the game for 4 years.
That way.
Together.
Yeah, that way.
That way. You have an actual team.
Yep.
Well, how does my kid get a scholarship? He's a little bit better than the other ones, and they notice. That's what scholarships are for them to notice.
Yeah, no, scholarships are for the guys who are on first string that play all the time.
Right. But how about the kid who's never going to go on to play football gets to have an experience in high school that's awesome?
Yeah, after his parents pay hundreds of dollars for him to play.
Yeah, that was the other thing.
Yeah, because it would be one thing if sports were...
And that was part of the reason why you quit.
Yeah, that was actually one of the main reasons I quit. It would be one thing if sports were free.
Yeah, absolutely.
If playing sports in high school were free, it'd be one thing if you had guys that just rode the bench the whole time. But my parents paid a lot of freaking money.
And let me add to that. We didn't have
a
lot of freaking money.
And let me add to it even more. I spent a lot of hours working for more money.
Right.
Because they didn't have enough.
Right.
So
I just paid you, put me in the freaking game.
So I get to play, yeah. Well, they're better at playing than you.
I don't care.
At this point, it's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. So if you put me in there, I might get better at playing. Or maybe, just maybe, you might figure out, maybe he shouldn't be a lineman.
Right.
Maybe he should play a different position.
Yep. So anyway, I played football.
Okay, go ahead.
My sophomore year, I rode the bench, and I was like, yeah, I'm done with this. I'm not playing football ever again, which sucked because I really did want to play varsity,
right.
Friday night lights and all that stuff. And so then I played, and then I was wrestling my freshman year, and that was horrible, absolutely horrible.
I can't use my catchphrase on that one either.
That's what?
No.
Oh. Jeez. And then I did baseball, and I played 1 inning.
That's something I should have done.
I played a quarter of an inning.
That is something I should have done.
Yeah.
I should have gone and played baseball.
I didn't have very good coaches. They were not interested in the quote unquote awkward kid that needed some help.
You know what the other thing was?
So what did I do?
I was friends with all of the coaches that weren't the football coaches. I could have played any of the other sports.
So why didn't you?
It's something I just think back on, and I'm just like, why didn't I play any
So
other
anyway,
sports? Go ahead. Continue.
I did all of that and lettered in cheer.
Anyway.
I mean, what are you going to do?
You know, I think back on it sometimes, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should have done cheer.
Oh, it was so much fun. I got to tell you, I learned more in the cheer squad than I learned in any of those other sports about sportsmanship, about teammates and players, and about respect of women. Believe it or not, respect. Well, I mean, I'm a guy on the cheer squad, and what's a dude doing on the cheer squad?
Giggity.
Right? And so the coach was a guy.
Giggity.
And he became a coach because his daughter wanted to be in cheer, and he wanted to protect his daughter. And so he pulled there were 3 of us, and he pulled us aside, and he said, "You are here to protect these ladies and to keep them safe. That's your job. If I find out that you're here for any other reason, I'll kill you myself." And I mean, I got strong. I got folk. I mean, it was awesome. It was so much fun. And it really is. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I didn't have to go dancing around and doing the goofy cheers, but it was still fun. I mean, we had a blast.
Did you do backflips?
No, that I'd never learned how to do backflips. I want to.
Because that is one of the things that I liked. So
the acrobatics of it, right?
I think it was my junior year. There were some guys that I was friends with that were on the cheer squad, and they were very, very athletic.
Yeah.
And they used to do those standing still backflips.
Yeah.
You know, where you don't have to run and do it. They would do like these cool backflips, and then they would do a running backflip, and they do, instead of like the cartwheel style, they would do the one where their legs are like straight up and down, and they're like a
woo.
Yeah, where it's like a big long flip. It was pretty sweet. It was very impressive.
Yeah.
So
we should get into that.
Cheerleading?
No.
Acrobatics. Oh, acrobatics. Yeah, I've always wanted to do that.
Well, let's do it then.
Right now?
I might hurt myself.
Where did she go?
To do it? That awkward pause that you just heard.
Besides that, I will say that when I played football, my grades were not the best, and as soon as football was over, my grades improved dramatically.
Yep.
Every year, actually.
And why is that?
Because I had more time to focus on it.
Correct.
However, my junior year, when I had no football, my grades were atrocious.
Really?
Yeah, junior year was my... They say that 1 year, that every student has 1 year in high school that's their bad year. Yes, he did. It was his junior year.
Was it really?
Yeah.
He still got valedictorian.
Yeah, he did. Because he's just,
obnoxious.
So
no, I'll say it. If he's listening, obnoxious.
He got lower A's than normal.
I love you, bro.
He got lower A's than normal.
Yeah.
I don't know what year his was.
For
me, it was junior year, and it was only 2 classes, and it was my first and second period, and it was because the teacher for the first period class, was ridiculous about not wanting people to fail the test. It was AP U.S. History, and he had a really good record for people not failing the test. The problem was that his method was incorrect.
Okay.
Because his method was weeding out people through like homework and stuff like that. And the problem is that people that are really good at doing homework are not necessarily very good at doing test taking or writing, which is actually one of the things that I discovered I was really good at doing.
Was writing?
Yeah. And actually, because of that class, it helped my writing in college.
So, did you get a degree in college?
I did. I got an Associate of Arts degree.
An Associate of Arts?
Yeah. So,
and but are you going to finish and become a teacher?
I would. I probably at some point.
Awesome. I should too.
You should. We both should.
Not the teacher part for me.
But we should finish our degree though.
I don't actually even have an associate's.
You don't. You dropped out before you did.
I didn't drop out.
No. So anyway, so he.
I'm still technically a student.
He So he had a whole class, a good portion of the class I was in, which was first period, dropped out, and sixth period, most of them stayed. And he had an atrocious year, actually. Yeah. I was one of only 5 or 6 people out of 30 or 40.
Oh my gosh!
To actually get a 3 or higher on the AP U.S. History test. The year before, which was the AP World History, I was one of 3 people to get anything higher than a 1 on the AP U.S. World History test. The AP World History test
Anything
is
higher than a
1.
1?
The AP World History test is the hardest AP test ever. There is no test that is harder because of the amount of information that is potentially on the test. I got a 2. And only one person in the class got a 3. And my guess is that the reason they got a 3 was because they were one of those people that was really good at answering questions. I am terrible at multiple choice.
Really?
If there is a test with written answers and multiple choice, I will ace the written questions and will bomb hard on the multiple choice.
Really?
Every single time.
I am phenomenal at multiple choice and only okay. So
I took a class. I had the one college class that I got 100
on essay questions.
I got 108% in the class.
Wow.
Every single question on the test was a written answer question.
Oh, and so you just knocked it out of the park.
scored. The teacher actually came up to me afterwards and was like, he didn't agree with anything I believed in, but he came up to me afterwards and he said, he told me it was so refreshing having someone like me in class that was so well written.
Articulate?
Yeah, exactly. And it's because of that class. It's because of my U.S. history class, my AP U.S. history class, because he taught me how to articulate myself.
Interesting.
On paper, and how to write an essay effectively to present your message and move on. And I something that I read papers and I read articles and I read things that people write, and I'm like, this is a lost art.
Yeah.
I have a unique skill that used to be a common skill.
Yeah, well, that's...
I was reading that document, that legal document. Did you read that?
Which one?
That Mom has?
No, I haven't had a chance to read it yet.
I'm reading it, and I'm just like, this is a joke.
Yeah.
And Mom's looking at me like, well, whatever. I won't go into the details of it, but it was just, we're going through some legal stuff, and I'm reading through the papers for her, and I'm like, Mom, this is trash.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, this is after dozens of revisions. And I'm like, I can't even imagine how bad it was after the beginning, because I know how good you are at doing revisions on stuff.
Phenomenal.
Because you've done revisions on all of my papers.
Yeah, and mine.
And so I know how good you are at this. I can't imagine how bad it was before we got to this point.
Yeah.
This is trash.
Seriously, yeah.
It's like the first paragraph, where everything is explained, doesn't explain anything. It actually contradicts itself.
Oh.
It has contradictory statements. There's no thesis statement.
Oh, geez. So it's just missing the structure.
It's missing all of the structure. And so then I read through the entire article, and it was just like, the entire document.
And when you don't have structure, your content is garbage.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. There was no structure. The content was weak.
Yeah.
It was just a bad paper.
Yeah.
It was a bad document. It's frustrating because for someone who has a hard time spelling,
yeah,
and someone who has in the past had a hard time speaking,
yeah, no,
if anyone who knows me knows that I'm a very very quiet person, and so having the ability to convey my thoughts and articulate my views on paper,
yeah,
is something that's a bit of a passion for me.
Well, it has to be.
And so, exactly, it has to be. And it's actually, and this is something I've made jokes about with other people, it's one of the reasons why I went out of my way to make my handwriting so good. Because, yeah, I can't spell, but at least you can read the letters and guess as to what I'm saying.
And figure out the word.
Because, I'm usually fairly close.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like I look at someone's handwriting, I look at someone's inability to write a paper. I look at all these different things, and I'm just like, this is the way that you're supposed to be articulating yourself. How can you even begin to function in society without this? And especially with things like digital messaging.
Right.
Becoming such a big thing. No wonder there's so many problems, because you have all these people that don't know how a sentence works. They don't know how to communicate with. We use nonverbal communication now more than ever before.
Yeah.
We used text communication.
Yeah.
And we have an entire society of people that don't know how to write.
Right. And so you get a text from somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, they were so upset. So what did we do? We developed emojis.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
you stink. Smiley face.
yeah. Or you get a text from someone and you're like, okay, I'm going to need you to give me some context here.
Right.
On what the heck you're talking about.
Right. Yeah.
Because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then they send you another text and you're like, okay, more information.
Yeah.
And 5 texts later, you're like, oh, okay.
I hate text messages.
You just wanted
so
this.
much.
Yes. The response was yes. But it took five texts to finally get the answer.
And those texts were paragraphs.
Right, exactly.
Mind you. I hate text messages.
Yeah.
I really do.
Anyway, we're
Are we
here.
done?
We're here. We've arrived. We've arrived at the end, at the top of the hour.
Did we do anything that was learning worthy today?
I think we did a decent amount of learning.
I think we did too. So once again, we're Podbros, a production of Soundbros Productions.
You know what I didn't do today, and I didn't do last week?
Oh, the weather.
I did not do the weather.
Okay, well, look up the weather while I do all this stuff.
I have the weather right here.
Oh, okay.
It's overcast.
Yay.
I think it was raining earlier.
It did rain today, yes.
It's going to be foggy tomorrow.
Ooh, I love fog.
And then it's going to clear up, and potentially we'll get some more rain next week.
Awesome.
You can, if you are enjoying the weather we're getting, you can thank Australia.
Oh, yes, for the fire.
Because they're on fire right now because we're having an El Nino year.
Ah, yes. Yes, that's true. That is true. So, yeah, we're on Podbro. We are Podbros, a production of Soundbros Productions.
We're on Podbean.
And the
iTunes, Spotify,
just a side note,
Google Play, YouTube, Facebook.
Thank you. The reason why we keep saying a production of Soundbros Productions is because, this podcast is just one of the productions that we do. So we do weddings, we do commercials,
Commercial.
We do all sorts of different things. If you like our voices or whatever, and you think you'd love to have a commercial done by us, give us a phone call, 928-533-2442, or send us an email at soundbrosproductions@gmail.com.
Or if you think that
drop us a message on Facebook.
Yes, or if you think that you want us to do a ad with a different voice, because me and Luke both have a large repertoire of
different voices
and accents that we can do. So depending on the situation,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
We can.
I don't even know what that was.
I don't know what that was either.
It was weird. But we can do that for you. And so, give us a call and we'll give you some pricing. We are, from everything I've been gathering and all the people I've been talking to, we're incredibly reasonable.
Yes, we are.
And we love what we do, and it's a passion. So
we'll do something good for you.
Coming up, we don't have an exact date for it yet. Or exactly how this is going to work out. But Podbros or Soundbros Productions is actually going to be going on the road. We are going to be going to Haiti at some point.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And we're going to be taking our equipment with us, so we'll be doing our podcast from Haiti.
Question: did you ever do that thing on Saturday, the multiple podcast thing with Richie?
No, that's coming up.
Oh, that's coming up.
Yeah,
that's this week.
Yeah. So.
That's right. Okay. Sorry,
yeah.
I
So
forgot it was this week.
Yeah. So also that brings up a point. There is a podcast coming up that Soundbros has been invited to be part of. It is called The Listeners. And basically
not to be confused with The Watchers.
No, because it's listening. Or glistening? Is it The Glisteners? Because I sweat so much?
The Glisteners.
The Glisteners. It's a bunch of fat guys.
No. It's people who take showers all the time. They're the fresheners.
So anyway.
No. They're people who work in the kitchen who wash stuff all the time.
Right.
They're the disheners.
Yes. Dear goodness.
No. Sorry. They're people who work on a boat and catch large quantities of sea mammals. They're the fishers.
The fisheners?
The fisheners.
Fisheners. Do you have any good puns real quick? We can end with a pun or two. I don't have any good puns on me.
They're people who are from England who are very sophisticated. They're the pisheners.
Good Lord.
Pish posh.
Pish posh. So once again, we are Sound Bros Productions. Podbros.
Actually, I
production
do
of Sound
have
Bros
I do have a
Productions.
super cheesy pun.
We are on Facebook,
I'm
iTunes,
gonna
Spotify,
totally
blah,
steal
blah,
right
blah.
now.
Go for it.
What did one DNA molecule say to the other DNA molecule? Do these genes make me look fat?
That's good. That's good. All right. So
Totally stole that one.
we hope you learned something, because if you're not learning,
Then you're dying.
so stay alive.
Should we end it now?